4:58 a.m. I've always hated my job. When I was younger, being a park ranger sounded like freedom. Long hikes, fresh air, solitude. At 25, it just feels like decay, monotony wrapped in tree bark and silence. I used to wish something would happen. My day shifts were always the same. Rounds through quiet, wooded trails in southwestern Virginia. I worked mornings, so I never expected much more than the occasional bear or lost tourist. The sunrise was usually the highlight, pale pink haunting, bleeding through branches like something watching. That morning started like all the rest. Coffee, boots, silence. Except for the car. A red Honda Civic, trucked alone in the back of the parking lot. Faded paint, flaking off like skin. I didn't think much of it at first. Early hikers are rare, but not impossible. Still, as the hours dragged on and hikers came and went, that car never moved. It just sat there, watching. Towards the end of my shift, curiosity got the better of me. I crept towards it. Its windows were coated in grime, like a layer of sweat that never dried. I cupped my hands against the glass, peering inside. Nothing. No ID, no bag, no smell. Just an empty driver's seat and a faint imprint on the passenger side, like someone had been sitting there for a long time. As I walked off, I realized a dimly shadowed figure reflected off the mirror of the car. Only issue was that I was the only one there at the time. I told the night ranger in passing. He laughed it off. You're a good kid. Nothing happens to you. It's on the inside that counts. It partly stuck with me. Disappearances like these happened before. I never assisted in the search, though. 2 days passed. I couldn't stop thinking about the possibilities. I felt like I was in a grotesque horror movie and I was the next victim. A wimpy 5/8 stick, easier to overlook. The car never moved. By then, the idea had burrowed inside me like a tick. I couldn't let it go. A red car, a missing person, maybe. A reason, finally a reason to feel something on this goddamn trail. Even though it shouldn't have, it exhilarated me. I felt like I finally had a purpose. No hikers came that day. The previous night's rain had scared them off. It was just me and the Civic. So I went looking. Water bottles, radio, flashlight. I told myself I was doing my job, but even then, I think I knew better. I wasn't looking for someone to rescue. Barely into the trail, I heard a noise. Some type of groaning. Feeling tense, curiosity forced me off the trail and to the left. Navigating through the thick and dense branches of the pine trees, I moved where the noise grew louder. What sounded like a mumble or groan turned into a shriek, almost wanting me to turn back. I wondered, what if it was the woman in the red Civic? I had to help her. Thus, I sprang forward, looking for the sound with more urgency. About 2 minutes later, I came face to face with what I could only think was a doe. Its stomach was mauled, almost like a bear got to it. There wasn't any flies yet, but the smell of guts pouring out almost made me hurl. It looked unnatural. No human nor animal could be so precise, yet so malleous. At this moment, I felt for the woman in the red Civic, for the isolation in these woods, for the terror of the unknown. Hell, even I'm cautious around these woods, but most of all, for likely being dead. I knew I had to find her. I knew this trail better than I knew myself. Now, the real walking commenced. Around the 3-mile mark, I found it. A puddle of mud where there shouldn't have been one. Thick, murky, unnatural, like the ground itself had opened to swallow something. The forest felt too still. Birds had gone silent. Air too hot, too heavy, like breathing through wet cotton. I stepped off the trail. I told myself I was searching. But really, I think I was following. Following something. The trees got tighter the deeper I went, like they didn't want me to be there. The The underbrush clawed at my legs, and still I kept going. I was driven, but by what? I couldn't say. Then suddenly I stopped. Nothing changed. Not the trees, not the light, not the air, but something was wrong. Like the woods had been holding their breath and finally exhaled. Eventually, I reached a clearing. Nothing special, just a circle of dirt and dead leaves. In the center was a backpack. Moldy. Faded like it had been there for years. I dumped everything on the ground. A cracked phone with one photo left in its gallery. A selfie of a woman in a red Honda Civic. Passenger seat. Smiling at someone just off camera. I checked the timestamp. 3 days ago. Upon closer inspection, the woman's face felt familiar, but I couldn't place why. Under the phone, a Polaroid photo that the wind blew away from me. One thing was left, but it was inside the bag. A note, scribbled in Sharpie on the inside flap. Don't let him find you. What? Who was him? Was there someone in the forest that was dangerous, or something? Looking around me, I realized that the trees were carved with the assortment of large symbols. Triangles, circles, pentagrams. No one had, to my knowledge, been this deep off the trail. That's when I felt it behind me. Like a pressure on my lungs. Like being watched through keyholes. I turned slowly. A shape stood between the trees. Tall, too tall. Human-shaped, but wrong. It didn't look like anything I was warned about. It was wrong, ungodly. It wasn't walking, it was just there. Was it watching me? Was it preying on me? I blinked, hoping it would be gone. It was still there, standing in that awkward position. The trees around it moved. Part of me felt terrified. The only part. It got closer, and I heard muffled whispers around me. It wasn't that I couldn't make out what they were saying. I didn't want to. This all had to be bullshit. I hoisted my gun and shot at that thing twice. The safety was, oddly enough, already off. The first bullet hit through the shadow into a tree. The shadow disappeared. The second struck something on the ground. A photo. I rushed to the Polaroid, flipping it over. Memories rushed to my mind, which shook me to my core. I was the man in the red Honda Civic, taking the woman's photo. And then it hit me. I didn't come to rescue the woman. I came to finish what had started. The others got away. The next won't. She had to run off before I could finish the job, though. She had to hide in the woods. The one place I didn't think to check. She had to escape my grasp before I could finally get to her. I wanted to save her from whatever's in these woods. That's what made my stomach turn. Not guilt, not fear, just disappointment. The game was over. I returned, anticipating to see only the Civic in the lot. But it wasn't. And that's when I knew. It wasn't just the girl who was gone. It was the story I told myself. That I was just curious. Just bored, just doing my job. I mean, I somehow had to entertain myself, right? Fuck, what other fucking things could I have done in southwestern Virginia? I came here, not for the solace of the woods, but the isolation of them. It's easier to pray in the shadows, in between the branches, than in an open, bustling city. People warned me about Apachella. The skinwalkers and mimics haunt people. They drove them out here and made them mad. Skinwalkers aren't real, though. Those shits are made up. People go crazy from the desolation within the trees. The sunrises that are the highlights of their day. I came here to see something so crazy it would exhilarate me. Instead, the lack of terror drove me mad. Because monsters don't come howling in the woods. They clock in at 5 a.m. and drink black coffee. They stare too long into cars that don't belong to them. They feel nothing when someone goes missing, except a bitter taste when it's not their hand that did the work. And the worst part, the game was over, and I had lost. I think I'll miss that Civic. Its blissful red paint peeling off, similar to the skin I planned to strip from her. Promptly returning home, I only knew one thing. I was hungry. Entering my pantry, I finally found the woman. I cried out, clinging to her lifeless body. She learned to embrace me for who I was. Not responding was her form of support. Now, I've invited a woman with a blue convertible over. Blue's not quite my color. Don't worry, I can always repaint. After all, it's on the inside that counts.